Hey solos, I have another solo story for you. This one is with Tina. Tina is a Disney lover since the age of 9. She's also a wife and a mother and a full-time caregiver to her son who is autistic. And we talk about how amazing it is to really put yourself first and take those solo trips and really fill your own cup. And it was just such a delightful conversation. Hi everyone, it's Samantha. Olaf may not know who Samantha is, but now you do. And welcome to Disney Solo Magic, the #1 podcast for solo travel to Disney World. In this episode, like I said, it's going to be a solo story, and you can get all the information for Tina down below. It was such a delight to talk with her. We had so much fun. We had so much laughing, but there was a little bit of reverb. We tried to get rid of it as much as possible, but in case you were like, "Ugh, what was that noise?" Don't worry. We noticed it too, and we tried to work around it as much as possible. As always, you can listen to this on Apple, Spotify, and on YouTube. Please make sure you subscribe, rate, and review on all those different platforms. That is so invaluable for making sure other people have access or gets to see the podcast on their algorithms. And like I said, make sure you follow Tina on all her social media, and the links to all that is below, along with all the links to my social media. Now, just remember, there is 1 week left, maybe 4 days left. This will come out on a Tuesday, and on Friday, I'm going to take the survey down. So one last push for any voting on what I should do on my upcoming solo vacation to Disney and the direction of the podcast. Thank you so much already for all of the information that you've provided in that survey. It was really great. We have so many people that are interested in doing solo stories, which is amazing. And I will get back to you all later in April. Is there anything else? Please support the podcast by buying me a coffee. Let's get into it. Tina, I'm so excited for this conversation. We've tried to do it a few times. I'm glad we're finally doing it. As I was saying to you, I think you are bringing a lot of interesting elements because of your life. So I'm super excited. So please introduce yourself to everyone.
Okay. Thank you, Samantha, first for having me. I really appreciate it. And I think I do bring a lot of different perspectives because I kind of help everyone in different genres be able to go to Disney. But I'm Tina. I'm almost 47.
Crazy. It's crazy. If anyone who's on her social media, obviously follow Tina. I was like, sorry, how old are you? That's crazy. Yep, 47,
Yes.
sure.
Yes, I've been married for almost 30 years.
Okay, that's actually even crazier.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I've been an Army wife almost just as long. I am originally from Philadelphia, but I actually split my time growing up between Philadelphia and Texas. So that was a fun upbringing and everything. And then, traveling and moving to different places while being a military spouse, every 3 years, you up and move where they tell you to. So it's interesting. I like it. It's coming to an end, and I'm excited for this next chapter of our lives. With my husband being so young and retiring right now, it's kind of exciting. He is retiring, but he's not retiring because he can't stay home with me all day, because then he'll be questioning my Disney trips.
No,
I don't need that kind of negativity in my life.
No, we don't need that at all.
Not at all.
So can you tell us a little bit about your Disney journey?
So the first time I went to Disney, I was 9 years old and 19 something.
Although we can do the math.
Yes. So I went when I was 9. My cousin was 10, and my mom took me and her, and we took the train from Philadelphia to Orlando for 2 weeks over Thanksgiving.
Wow.
Now, yes, I know Thanksgiving break is not 2 weeks long, but my mother was always the parent that was like, yeah, we're going on vacation. Just give her some work to do. So
hashtag worksheets.
Yes, exactly. So for 2 weeks, we went to Orlando and we went to Disney, and the first time I saw the castle, it's really kind of hard to describe, especially for someone who may have never been. But it's just something about walking into Magic Kingdom. And back then, there was only Magic Kingdom in Epcot when I first went. So that tells you. So when you first walk in, and there's just something about the smells and the people and the laughter and just this amazing feeling that comes over you when you first step into a Disney park that even as an adult, it still doesn't go away. You still have that magical feeling, so, for to say. And it was just amazing. And I just remember seeing the castle, and I just thought it was just the most magnificent thing ever in the world. So I just was like, oh, this is great. So we went to Magic Kingdom and we went to Epcot. And like now my mother, she's like, yeah, 2 weeks was way too long. That first trip, she's like, that was way too long. That first trip with the 9 and a 10-year-old, and that was too long. But that was my first time. And then the second time I went to Disney, there still was just Epcot and Magic Kingdom. There still was just Epcot and Magic Kingdom. And it's so funny because I have pictures, like some Polaroids of the characters at Epcot in those silver outfits.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So in the silver outfits, and then I have pictures of a Magic Kingdom where you see portions of when it was the cake. The castle was decorated as the cake.
Yes.
And it's like a crane in the background. So I don't know if they were just putting the decorations up or taking them down at that time. But I have Polaroids of that. And I was like, this is so cool. So
and it's like you have this little portal into this this very specific time period that we only have photographic evidence for, but
yes.
There. Yeah.
And it's interesting because I look at those Polaroids and I look at attractions that are no longer there. And like my kids, so 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea was my favorite attraction at Magic Kingdom. I don't know why. I don't like small spaces. I don't like being
oh well,
but that was my absolute favorite attraction. So for years my kids thought I made it up. They were like, Mom, that's not a real thing. So you're trying to tell me, Mom, this section of Magic Kingdom had water and it was a submarine there. So that's what we're supposed to believe. So for years they didn't believe me. And I was like, no, I'm serious. I was like, look, so I had to I had to start Googling stuff and pulling it up for them to see, like, no, Mom's not crazy. That's really how Magic Kingdom looked when I was a kid. And so then the last time I went to Magic Kingdom as a child, I was 12, the parks, I was 12. And then I didn't go again until after I got married and had children of my own. Our older son, he had gone twice with his grandparents before we even took him once. Like, the grandparents were like, we want to take him to Disney World. I was like, have fun. Bye.
Bye.
You got a great time. I was like, am I going to tell my son, no, you can't go to Disney World? Absolutely not. So I didn't go again until I was an adult, married with young children. And at the time we went, it was when the military service members ticket was free.
That's excellent.
So the service member was free, and I want to say our ticket was like $72 for a 1-day ticket. Was like $70. It was awesome. So that was when we went. We first went. It kind of was a little overwhelming, so we only took the kids to Magic Kingdom first. So it was like, nope, we're just gonna go to Magic Kingdom, and just because in a kid's mind, when they think of Disney World, of course, it's Magic Kingdom. They want to see the castle.
Yeah.
That's what they want to see. That's what they envision as seeing the castle. So taking our kids for the first time and then seeing their faces and just the excitement. And because we have a child with autism, his excitement and his love of the movies that he watched on TV playing out in real life. Because one thing about us and one thing I don't share very often, and I'm not going to cry, is when our son was diagnosed with autism, Disney movies and cartoons helped him find a voice. And because he is pretty much nonverbal, it helped him sing, and it helped him into who he is today. And I will always love Disney for that, because it is something that is truly, truly to us special and magical, and it means so much to us. And so that probably fueled my deeper love for Disney, that my child was able to have a voice and find a voice, and taking him to the parks and cast members and everyone being just so welcoming and accommodating, and it was just amazing. So those first experiences and that I felt the first time I went to Disney, he was able to experience and feel, and he may not have been able to express them, but you see it every day. Like, you can't tell my son he's not Christopher Robin, and and he lives at the 100-Acre Woods. Like, you can tell him nothing. You can't tell him that. So it's great that we were able to take him and experience that with him, and he loved it. And so then as an adult, now I'm hooked again. Like, I was already hooked as a kid. Like, you don't need to twist my arm for me to go to Disney. Of course I'm going to Disney. Of course. So now I'm even hooked, even more.
I love that so much. I love the different layers you're bringing out, like your connection as you as a kid, but then you as a parent as well, especially with a child who has exceptionalities, that you're like, oh my God, like look what the magic is able to conjure in these spaces. And
Yes.
when I've seen families with children who are in a wheelchair or have other sort of challenges, I really just think like how wonderful to come to a place and like not have to worry about a lot of different things that I can imagine in like regular public spaces that can happen. And I really love too that you still, even though you know that your children and your son who's autistic in particular is connecting to those stories and those places, I still love that you choose to go solo sometimes as well, because
Oh yes, absolutely.
because to me it really like signals like the importance of like putting your oxygen mask on first, right? Like taking care of yourself, as well as sharing these memories with family. Like it's not either or, it can be and then it can make both of those things even like bigger and deeper. And I love that. I love how that was part of what I heard from your story.
Yeah, that is exactly it, because it's, life. And sometimes, yes. And as much as I love, a Caribbean vacation, and putting my feet in the sand, that's okay. I like that too. But when I really need a recharge, I'm booking a Disney trip.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. It's, especially when you go solo, there's something about taking it all in, and something about being present and being able to experience things with a different set of eyes and from a different perspective. Because now, and I go, sometimes when you go with a group, other groups annoy you. So you're maybe with another, you may be with your group and you're trying to navigate through the parks and you're frustrated. Your group is frustrated. You're frustrated at the other groups that are there. And you're just like, I'm not having the best time that I could be having. And then when you go solo, you're like, okay, this is my breather. This is my take a step back. This is I don't have to be go, go, go if I don't want to, but I can, and not have to worry about who's lagging behind or who may be, not having the best time or who may be having a difficult experience. And you're able to just sit within yourself and your thoughts. And I know for a lot of Disney adults who get such a bad rap, which is horrible, that's our place to just be a kid. Like, just be a kid. Adulting is hard.
Yeah.
Adulting is very hard. So to be able to go to Disney solo, it really does put life into perspective. At least for me, it does, because it gives me that much needed break that I need sometimes from being mom. Because even though my kids are adults, I'm still mom. They still look at me like, hey, where's dinner?
You're like, that's an excellent question. Have you cooked it yet?
Right? Yes. So it's still that. I'm still mom. And when I get to go to Disney solo, I get to just be Tina. I get to be Tina. And I get to be a kid. And I get to be 9-year-old Tina again, who is having the time of her life riding Jungle Cruise and laughing at the jokes that I may have heard, some of them a million times, but I'm going to laugh and chuckle at them anyway.
So I've taken 2 Caribbean trips solo. And yes, they have been great trips. They've been amazing trips. But they're trips where I have to be an adult, right? Like I have to be like on guard a little bit. And I'm not married, but I wear a very prominent wedding ring and engagement ring when I'm there, just to be like, oh, don't worry, my husband
is right over there.
Right over there. and they both have been wonderful healing vacations, 100%. But yes, there is something about going to Disney that brings that extra set of safety, like emotional safety. Like your brain doesn't need to be firing like that at all times, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that you can be like, oh, right, I can be an adult that is also feeling like having the safety that you should have as a kid anyway.
Yes, and I never worry when I'm in the Disney bubble.
No,
ever. I never worried. When our kids were teenagers and they wanted to leave the resort to go to the park, bye. You're safe. You're in the Disney bubble. Nothing bad will ever happen in the Disney bubble. You are safe. I will see you later.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people like have questions about safety, and I get that, and I don't want to like put them down, but I'm just like, no, like seriously, especially like as a woman, like that's not the vibes that is happening.
Yeah, they're it's so interesting. Like I never feel unsafe at Disney ever. I'm never looking over my shoulder. I'm never afraid someone is going to do something inappropriate to me. I'm never afraid of that at all. Even when I open my room door at the resort and my luggage is there, I'm not not freaked out like, wait, how did my luggage get here?
No, and
like, I didn't have to go back to Bell Services.
Exactly. You're like, thank you for touching all of my stuff.
Yes.
And even something like a cell phone, I'm like, oh, no one is stealing my cell phone here. Like,
so, and that is so funny that you brought that up. My daughter left her cell phone 1 year in the Disney Springs bathroom. When I tell you that cell phone was still there almost an hour later.
I left my phone at the big Disney store at Disney Springs, and I was like panicking. I'm like, this is the worst place to leave your phone. Like it could get stolen here. Mm-hmm. And then no, I like went up to a cast member, and they're like, oh, is this your phone? Like, it's right here. Somebody turned it in.
Yes.
And I left my phone in a bathroom at Animal Kingdom Lodge, and I like ran back, and this woman came out of the bathroom. She's like, oh, is this your phone? Like, she didn't even like check. No, here you go.
The same. Like, and then the first time we went to Disneyland, my other daughter left her phone in the bathroom in Galaxy's Edge, and the next day, Disney was like, hey, yeah, we found your phone.
Yeah, no one is stealing your phone at Disney.
No one is stealing your phone at Disney. Your stroller? Maybe, but not your phone.
Yeah, that water bottle, that that fan thing that turns,
Yes.
that's like $50. Yeah, maybe.
That might magically disappear, but not your cell phone.
No. You know, the other thing is, and like obviously we're not going to talk about politics too much, but I have had a lot of people that are like, because I'm Canadian, they're like, well, but isn't like Disney like, aren't you feeling the politics? And I was like, no, it's such an apolitical political place and such a political apolitical place, and I'm like, I feel like I've only seen 3 political shirts, and one was like left wing, which I am left wing, and I was like, I don't really want to see that either. And I just feel like a lot of like people need a place to go, right? Like you're saying, adulting is hard, and right now, especially in the States, I just feel like, adulting is hard, and this is a space that people can be like, oh no, we're in a different community here. This is a different thing that is happening. We have different energy that we are prioritizing here. And
I say that to people because they're like, how can you go to Florida? I said, I'm not going to Florida. I'm going to Disney.
Huge difference.
They are not one and the same.
It is not one and the same.
They are not one and the same. That is not the same place. And yes, you may see a couple of political shirts. You may, regardless of which side you're on, you may see a couple of them. I personally feel like that's an interesting shirt to wear on vacation. But hey.
But I feel like it's people that don't, I feel like it's people that don't get it. Like that they're like, oh, well, Disney is going to be a place I'm going to like make a big statement. And it's like, oh no.
Yeah, you're at the wrong place for that.
It's the wrong place for that.
We don't do that here.
No, we don't do that here. It's magical. Like you are not entering the system in which
when you get here. No, when you get to Disney, you're not in that environment. You are in the land of magic and make believe, and everything is pixie dust and beignets.
Hashtag pixie dust and beignets.
Yes, and that's not the energy that's happening when you go to Disney parks, and people really need to understand that is not, when you go to a Disney park, you're not in Florida. When you're in the Disney bubble, you're not in Florida. You are in a completely, that's why it says Walt Disney World. Like you are in a completely different world. And I love it. I absolutely love it.
I know. And like during COVID, Canadians had to get like the big test before going back into Canada. So we had to, like when I went with my mother, we'd have to leave the property, get our big test, and then come back. And every single time we were like, what is this world that we're in? And we lived in Florida growing up, but we were like, I do not love this. And one time we stopped at a Starbucks and I was like, why does this just feel weird and wrong?
Yes.
And then we got back into Disney and I was like, oh, shake it out. All right, let's just get right back into it. No problem.
Yes.
Yeah. So what is something that you can do solo in the parks that you can't do when you're going with, I know sometimes you said you gone with your mother and sister, I think, and then your kids. And
So
I feel like I've never mentioned going with your husband except for that first trip. What is something you can do solo?
So my husband did not go to Disney for the first time until we took our children. So that was his very first experience. And he didn't have he had fun because the kids were having fun. But also the kids wanted ice cream at like 4:00 in the afternoon. And he was like, oh yeah, we'll get it. Well, 10:30 at night, they finally get their ice cream and they don't want it because they're sleepy now. So he was like, I spent $40 on ice cream and y'all can eat your ice cream.
I love how, like, however many years later, that's still like the family story.
Yes.
And also, if you were going to do that now, it'd be like $80 for the ice cream.
Yes. So that was his very first time. While we were stationed in Florida, I did take him to Epcot for Father's Day. So he enjoyed that, except we did Mission Space.
No,
that was bad. We did Mission Space and then we had to leave the park after that. I was like, yeah, we got to go.
Okay,
was
I
like, oh,
appreciate that. First, was it you or him that had the bad experience, or both of you?
it was both of us, but I definitely,
Okay, because
I 100% were.
on the podcast episode for the like Women's History Month, I was like, then I had a mental breakdown in the park, and it was 100% because I mean, there were other factors of like not sleeping enough, but no,
Mhm.
I would not have had to leave the park if it wasn't for mission space.
Yes, yes. Because he said, no, let's do the more intense side. And I said, okay. Why
know.
didn't I agree to that? And I was like, well, it's Father's Day, so he could, we're gonna do whatever he wants to do around Epcot. And that was his first time at Epcot. So I was like, okay, great. Oh, no, never again.
I know.
And I've never been on it since. I haven't been on it since. And that was, oh my gosh, that was 2009. That was 2009. That was the last time I ever wrote Mission Space.
I think the same with me. Maybe we both had a freak out at the like in the same weekend, but there were kids that went in and they were like, "Yeah, intense." So I was there with my sister and like, "Well, we can do intense." No, we cannot do intense.
No, we cannot.
So I'm sorry. You were saying what is something that you would do solo that you wouldn't do with your family when you go?
Everything.
I love it.
So when you go with the group, you want to people please. You want to make sure everyone is having a good time. And when you go by yourself, all you have to worry about is you having a good time. You can do anything and everything, or you can do nothing. And that is my thing. It's I'm rope dropping. I'm staying till, a matter of fact, what's tonight? Is it extended night hours tonight? Yep. I'm rope dropping to extended night hours. Okay. I'm not leaving. Understand? I am here. My family and the groups that I go with, they're like, okay, so we're going to rope drop and then we're going to leave at like noon 1 and then we're going to go take a nap and then we'll be back at like 5. And, and I was like, sure. Okay. Let's do it. Let's go to the resort and take a nap. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Of course we can go take a nap. Yeah. Yes.
Now I am a napper. I need a nap, but like I love that about the trips because I'm like, well, now I can prioritize the nap or sleep in. I don't need to like worry about someone else being awake. And I've talked about this on the podcast. I love a hotel, and like the moderate resorts where I usually stay are so themed that I just like keep that TV music on.
Yeah.
My little area, and I'm like, hashtag solo Disney magic.
Yes, absolutely. Because it's when I go with groups, and then another thing, which probably doesn't work well at Disney, but generally in my day-to-day life, I'm very impatient. I have very, very, very small margin of patience in my everyday life. When I go to Disney, I'm the most patient person on the planet. What? Wait 45 minutes to meet Mickey Mouse? Of course. I won't even wait 4 minutes to check out at the supermarket. I'm like, I'll come back. This is ridiculous. So in my day-to-day life, I'm very impatient and I don't like waiting for people. So when I get up and dress and I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. So when I have to wait for my group, little parts of me die inside.
I know, listeners, you can't see Tina's face, but just like how her tone changed, her like face had all these like weird little twitches, which I understand.
Yes. So it drives me nuts. And then I have to take a breath and I'm like, okay, Tina, you're not here by yourself. You're not here by yourself. You're not here by yourself. Because if I was there solo, I just would have gotten up and walked out the door and went on about my day. And that is something that when I go to Disney solo, I don't have to worry about. I don't have to worry about anyone else's time but my own. And because I'm always a punctual person, it drives me nuts if I'm late for anything.
I just love the stories that your face is telling, and I really apologize that people don't get that meta story as well. But like your face is just transforming to like someone with such like controlled anger.
Yes.
I am
Yes.
punctual, meaning other people are not.
Yes. 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 But it's that thing. It's that I can just go, and if I want to watch Carousel of Progress and take a nap, that's where I'm going to get my nap in. I don't need to go back to the resort to take a nap. No. I'm going to sit in Carousel of Progress. I'm going to doze off, and I'm going to sing It's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow when it pops on. And I'm going to doze back out. But I just enjoy being able to go solo when times I'm just like, oh, I need a vacation. And some people don't see Disney as a vacation. They're like, well, Disney's not a vacation. It's a trip. I don't know what you're talking about, because Disney is a vacation for me. So when I go solo, it's like, this is my vacation. And I'm going to relax by rope dropping and park closing the parks. Like, that is my relaxation.
Yeah, I lost 30,000 steps in the Florida heat.
Yes.
And it was the most restorative time I've ever had.
Yes, I'm so refreshed now.
You know, it's funny, but when I had got in touch with you, I was like, hey, I can't really tell if you go solo because like I don't see people in your pictures, but you like talk about other people, and you know, like maybe we could do it if you do go solo. And you were like, I just came back from going with my family, and like I'm about to go on another solo trip. Yeah, I need a vacation.
Yes.
And I was like, I want this woman on the podcast.
Yes. So I have an upcoming trip later this summer with my mom and my daughters, who are typically my go-to park people. It's my mom and my daughters. And I'm trying to squeeze in one by myself. Before then, I'm like, okay, when can I squeeze in a solo trip? So I was going to go solo on my birthday, but this year my birthday is actually Easter Day. So I was like, well, hello, $500 round trip airfare, because your birthday is Easter Sunday. So I'm like, okay, so maybe I won't go on my actual birthday. So that's a bummer, but it's okay.
Sorry, I flew in from Toronto last Easter Sunday. And first, the plane was empty. Second, we got chocolate bunnies. And
that's so cute.
I know, and it was really cheap. So maybe keep an eye open.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep checking, because that's what I wanted to do for my birthday. I was like, my kids aren't little. Like, I'm not having an Easter egg hunt for them. Like, they're adults. All they care about is that a basket full of Easter candy shows up at their bedroom door when they wake up Easter morning. That is all they care about. So I really do want to squeeze in a solo trip before we go later this summer, because then that's probably going to be my last trip when we have it later this summer for the year. Because then we kick into my husband's retirement stuff. And so that's a whole bunch of planning and stuff going on. But I'm trying to squeeze in a solo trip. I just really have to figure out when. And I was like, I really wanted to go on my birthday. So we'll see. I'm hoping I can get one in before we all go in August, but I really just want to go.
First week of April is very inexpensive. And I know, like, I'm going then, and I know there's a few solos also going then. So
really? Okay,
I'm gonna have because it's been like just so inexpensive. So check that week out.
Yes, and I was looking too, because I got little email that said, hey, we lowered flight miles. So I was like, oh, I do have miles on 2 airlines for a free round trip flight. So I was like,
I wonder where I could go.
Where can I go?
So what's a tip you would give other solo travelers, especially like, okay, period. What is a tip you'd give to solo travelers who have a lot of caregiving and caretaking responsibilities and feel guilty about a solo trip? So those are like 2 questions, I think.
So I never feel guilty about a solo trip.
That
Ever. I
I said,
never
love it.
feel guilt. Yeah, I never feel guilty going solo. For me, that is my self-care. For me, that is my break. That is my me time. That is my refresh. That is my, because I am our son's caregiver, that is my time to just take a step back from my day-to-day caregiving duties and focus on myself. Because I've been a wife and a mother for almost 30 years, it really is needed. It's needed because when you are a caregiver, my day-to-day life is always so focused on other people that going to Disney solo allows me to unwind and allows me to relax and allows me to get refreshed, because that saying is so true that you can't pour into others until you pour into yourself. And that is exactly what it feels like going, for me anyway, to Disney solo. I'm pouring into myself all the love and care that I give to other people. Now I'm pouring it into me by taking myself to Disney and happily taking myself to Disney. And as a parent in general, you typically feel guilty when you do something for yourself, because then it kind of seems like, oh, you're being selfish or you're taking away from XYZ. And that's not the case, because you can't be present for other people if you are exhausted, if you aren't functioning at your best. You can't be a proper caregiver. You can't. It's simply impossible. So to go to Disney solo, to go without having that guilt, yeah, I'm not taking that guilt baggage with me. Like, not at all. That guilt baggage is not getting on this plane. It will stay wherever it is, but it's not getting on this plane to the most magical place on earth.
That cast member is not bringing it into my room.
Not at all. Not at all. That cast member is bringing towel decor and towel animals and towel art. That is what they're bringing into my room. But they are not bringing in that guilt. And I say to it, you have to take time for yourself, because as a caregiver, it is extremely difficult. Some days are extremely difficult. And that solo Disney trip takes that difficulty away. It does. It actually does. Sometimes I wish that I would take everyone. Yeah. And sometimes I go on a solo trip and I was like, and I think, oh, my son would enjoy this, or my daughter would enjoy this, or my husband would enjoy this. And then I have to check myself and say, no, we're not here right now for them to enjoy anything. We are here for you to enjoy yourself. So stop worrying about your family. They're fine. They're well taken care of. Have fun, go solo, and leave the guilt out of it, because the guilt is just bad. The guilt is like a bad villain that doesn't become good. It just stays bad.
It's like that other energy, right? Like we were talking about, like, the outside of Disney and then the inside of Disney. It's just different energy. Yeah. But when you were saying, like, most of my time and for a lot of my life, I'm like a wife and a mother, and here it can be Tina. Like, I think that's so, so important that we always have to remember. Like, I, about 10 years ago, I did caregiving for a family member who had cancer. He's fine. He's still alive now. But I was talking about it just like last week, and I was saying to someone who was about to begin caregiving for a parent, I'm like, you need to split yourself, because you can't bring resentment to any of the caregiving, but you will get resentment if you aren't connected with, like, who you are as an individual, separate from these things.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've talked on the podcast a lot about, like, I feel like Disney takes care of me in a way that I need in relationship to other parts of my life, because I just naturally care. And so here is a place where I get taken care of. Even
Yeah,
if I'm at a value
absolutely.
resort, like that's not the part
Yes.
of it. It's the safety. It's being like held, right?
Yes, absolutely. You really are taken care of when you go to Disney. And it's like a warm hug. Like, and I know that sounds so silly and so cliche, but it is actually like you are walking into your grandma's house and she is there to welcome you with a plate full of fresh baked snacks and she is just going to sit down with you and stroke your hair while you eat these snacks. Like that
My
is
my grandmother wasn't doing much baking, but she did like Canada Club rye. But yes, I appreciate the analogy.
yes. But that is like it's like when you go to Disney, Disney is giving you this warm hug. They're embracing you. They're happy you're here, and they're happy you're here. If you're one person or if you're 100 people, they're happy you're here. They're happy you're having a great experience. They want you to have a great experience, whether you're with a group or solo. They want you to be able to kick back and be a kid. Like we see all these Disney commercials of these older couples going to Disney and being childlike. And that's what Disney wants. Disney wants you to come in and feel like a kid and know that when you come here, you're going to have a good time. You're going to be safe and you're going to be able to go home with the sense of peace and calm and magic and memories that will last you until your next Disney trip.
Before I say the last question, I just wanted to touch upon what you said of like, yeah, there's sometimes when you're on your solo trips and you're like, oh, it'd be great if my daughter saw this but it's so interesting because like the moment that you want them to experience would not exist if they were there.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And so that's why.
Yeah, so it's like, sure, I'd like this family member to ride this ride, but like this particular feeling that I get because of this and this and this happened because I was on a solo vacation. So it's nice to bring the memories of other people in, but if they were there at it would be a different energy and a different engagement.
It would not be the same at all. Absolutely not. And so that's when I tell myself, get that thought out your head. They're not here. It's just you. And embrace it. And yes, that would be nice, but it wouldn't be the same. You're exactly right. It would not be the same experience if they had been there, you weren't there solo. Like, and that's one of the other reasons too, to go solo, experience these things, experience through not just the eyes of your children, through your own eyes. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because your eyes as a parent are important, right? You're not just a parent, you are also a human and you also are like a kid inside, right? Like your eyes are important too. Okay, so my last question is, what is your favorite park? I feel bad asking this question. Everyone's always like, how can you ask this? So you don't, I mean, whatever. What's your favorite park? Also, what is like one thing that you recommend solos like do or eat or like see when they're going solo?
So, oh gosh, it's so hard to say what my favorite park is because I'm a little torn. So I do love, love going to the Magic Kingdom. And I do love being in Epcot. And I don't know if it's because the first times I went, those were the only two parks that were there. And I think that might play a little bit into of why they're my favorite, is that they were the only ones there at the time. There was no Animal Kingdom. There was no, MGM Studios, aka Hollywood Studios. There was none of that yet. So I definitely would say, okay, I'm going to go Magic Kingdom. Magic Kingdom. Yes. And Magic Kingdom definitely I would say is my favorite park. Yeah. I'm gonna say that. And silly enough, besides 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, okay, I like Swiss Family Treehouse.
Yeah, why don't people love that more? It is so beautiful. Yeah. But did you watch the movie growing up?
I did.
See, I think that's a part of it. I think that there's like like there's might be 2 generations now of people that don't even know it's a movie.
Yeah, I don't think I'm pretty sure most people probably don't realize that it was a movie.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're probably like, why is this here? What is this? And they're
Like,
probably confused.
yeah, no, it's I agree. I remember like on All Ears when Molly used to say like, "Oh, what should I do today?" And I'd be like, "Sincerely Robinson, Sincerely Robinson." And not only would she never do it, she wouldn't even acknowledge it as a thing. And I have some pictures from Swiss Family Robinson that I'm just like, God, it is so beautiful. And this just does not
It's
get
so
enough.
beautiful. And it doesn't get enough attention. It doesn't get enough love. It really doesn't. And it's between that and probably Jungle Cruise. It's just, and I think it's just my old soul, my old nostalgic soul, coming out. Like that's what I want to get on. Like I want to get on Jungle Cruise. I want to climb up those steps in the Swiss Family Robinson treehouse. Like that's what I want to do. Going solo, I think you should experience pretty much everything. Get on Pirates, get on, Big Thunder Mountain whenever he opens in a year. Get on all the attractions. Like, get on the attractions. I'm very, 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 very pro attraction. I love attractions. So I'm very much like, yeah, get on it, experience the attractions, because they're not what you think of. They're not like a lot of people think, oh, they think one or two ways. Oh, I don't really do roller coasters, or I don't really do these, baby rides. And it's not quite either. It's not quite either. They're not going to be death defying 500-foot drops roller coasters. They're not going 70 miles an hour. Your feet aren't going to dangle on these attractions, but they're sweet and they're fun, and I like experiencing the attractions.
And you're being part of a story. Like,
yeah,
I don't like roller coasters either, but I really love like the Yeti ride and Snow White because you're in a story. And so you're like,
yes.
Okay, fine, we go fast because the Yeti's coming after us. I get it.
Yes. Like, yes. So I do think when you go solo, I think, so I'm not someone who is very restaurant loyal at Disney. I'm not, because I want to try all the things.
I love it.
So I'm going to try all the things. So sometimes I make a list of what looks interesting, and I decide from there what I want to try. Sometimes I just wing it. Sometimes because on a solo trip, I almost never have any type of advanced dining reservation. I am just winging it. And some trips, I don't want a full meal. Some trips, I just want to snack all day. And I know myself, I know I can't, I don't know how some of these people do it, but I cannot eat 3 massive meals a day and then snack all day in between. Absolutely not. I can't. My stomach capacity just can't hold it. I just can't.
Especially in the Florida heat, right?
Absolutely. Like, I cannot handle all of that heavy food during park days. So I snack. I'm going to get the cheeseburger spring rolls. I'm probably going to get, I liked the original chicken and waffle with the coleslaw from Sleepy Hollow. Like, that's the one I liked. The new one, I had it. It's okay. I missed the handheld ability of the other chicken and waffle that they had at Sleepy Hollow. But and then even that, I can't even eat that by myself. Like, it's big. So, and I'm not carrying around a bunch of snacks all day with me to take back to my resort. I'm not doing that. So I'm very much a big snacker. I encourage everyone to get the coconut Dole Whip if you can. If you're not allergic to it, the coconut soft serve from Aloha Isle, that is hands down my favorite cold treat in Disney parks. There is nothing like it. And while yes, I do love a traditional Dole Whip, it's something about that coconut soft serve that just hits the spot. It really just hits the spot. Um, I am a Pecos Bill kids meal ordering.
Me too.
Yes, I'm gonna go to Columbia Harbor House and I'm gonna get some hush puppies. Like I am going to literally snack around Magic Kingdom. And I don't really yeah, I don't really like having full sit down meals. I did once. I had a burger at Beaches and Cream over at the Beach Club Resort. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it because people say that it's good and they like their ice cream. And it's not for me. It's not for me. If it's for you, that's okay. But it's something that is definitely not for me.
Yeah.
It's rare when on a solo trip I'm going to have a full sit down meal. I'm not doing it. I would say if you're going to Hollywood Studios, if you go in the morning, definitely get the blueberry waffles with the fruit on top and the whipped cream. 100% get that. Get that. They're so good. And I want to say they're the only place on property where you get the blueberry Mickey shaped waffles.
That's a great tips that you have
Yeah.
that you have like brought to this podcast. Thank you. Tina, this was just such an amazing conversation. Every time I have one of these, I think, how can they get better? And they always do. It was such a pleasure to talk with you. I feel like we are going to meet on the Swiss Family Robinson, like third floor, eating our coconut Dole Whip because I don't eat pineapple. I have an allergic, but coconut is also my jam. And we're going to just be eating these like coconut Dole Whip on Swiss Family Robinson, be like, oh my God, look who it is.
It's amazing. Great.
So thank you so much. Can you please tell people how they can get in touch with you and follow you? And of course, all of your social media links are in the description of this episode, but can you tell people how they can follow you?
Come follow me on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, at The Travel Life of Tea. I thank you for having me. Like, this has been so much fun. I could talk with you forever. And I really can't wait until we meet at Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse. That's going to be awesome. That's going to be great. But yeah, come follow me everywhere. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. My husband is trying to encourage me to get on YouTube. But I actually despise the sound of my voice recorded. So I'm trying to break out of that, but I'm so grateful that you invited me on and I'm so happy that you did. And I really, really appreciate it.
I don't know why you would not like the sound of your own voice. It was a pleasure to listen to you today. And I'm also going to love listening to you if you start your own YouTube channel. So please let me know. And it's funny, when one of the last times I was on Swiss Family Robinson, I was standing beside what I learned was a kid, like a 20-year-old kid. And I was like, some people don't know this was a movie. And he's like, oh, it was a movie. And that's how we're going to meet, Tina. I'm going to be standing there and be like, some people don't
That's
know
right.
it's a movie. And you're like, yeah, I know it's a movie.
They're like, I know it was a movie. What are you talking about? I watched it last night.
You'll like come up from another floor and be like, I know it's a movie. All right, Tina. Well, until we meet again, thank you so much for participating. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Hey Solos, it's Samantha. I hope you enjoyed this episode and all the episodes of Disney Solo Magic, the #1 podcast for solo travel to Disney World. Let's keep this podcast as the #1 podcast for solo travel to Disney World, and please make sure you rate, review, and subscribe on any and all platforms that you listen. It'd be also really great if you supported the podcast by buying me a coffee. There is a link in the description below where you can go and pay with your Apple Pay for $3 American, which is about $5 Canadian, to help support the podcast. Also remember, for the month of March, there is a survey that you can also get in the link to the description below, where you can vote not only on my upcoming trip, but also about the direction of the podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and I can't wait to read your feedback. Bye.